Alright guys, quick little update. Sorry, microphone's not working right now, so we got the backup mic on. But they are preparing the slab right now for all of the grade beams and all the pits and the different things that we have to do. So let's take a look and see what they're working on right now. Alright, so right now you can see all of the white. This is the underlayment or the vapor barrier that goes underneath the slab to keep the vapor from coming up into the slab. This giant pit that we have right here is for the elevator. There's going to be a recessed area here that the elevator has to sit into. So that all goes right there. And then next to those we have some pipes for the powder room, bathroom that's going to be there. And then all these big channels and big reliefs that you see everywhere in the ground. These are called grade beams. That just means it's a big concrete beam that goes underneath the slab. It's just like a thick footer. So it's nice and strong underneath. I'm putting a bunch of these in here to kind of overdo it so that we have a strong slab for all these cars to park on. That little pipe coming up out of the ground is going to be for a drain, just for water. And then where the tractor is sitting right now, eventually he's going to dig out that pit for the turntable. So stay tuned. A little bit more to come on this thing. All right guys, back here at Project Our House. It's concrete day. A little bit closer view of the pit. This thing is massive. I wanted to get the generous size turntable so that when you pull onto this thing, you're not kind of like wondering if you're on it or not. You just know that you're on it. So it'll be easy to pull onto. This area over here again, nice easy parking spot for a few cars. Park one here on the table, and then you can park a couple back here if you wanted to be off the table. And then we'll have the in-ground lift here. So the lift is going to be set up so that if you wanted to use it, you can just bolt the arms on. They'll come up out of the ground. If you don't want to use it, you take the arms off, put it in the closet, and it's just flush plate on the floor like it's not even there. So you can use all of this for parking. You don't have to worry about those arms being in the way. Alright guys, here at Project Our House again. This is later in the day. The concrete guys did their thing today, and it's hot. It's hot today. So concrete dries surprisingly fast. So I'm going to walk you guys down here now so you can take a look into what it looks like just, you know, however many hours later. Got my fluffy mic on. So let's check this out. I'm gonna flip the camera around. All right, so I just got the instructions from my concrete guy that he thinks it would be smart to wet the slabs down so that you're seeing them a little wet. Looks like it rained, but it didn't. I just hosed everything down. And you see, this is 5 minutes ago. It's already drying. It's so hot. This concrete just wants to dry off. But it's like perfectly, I mean, for all intensive purposes, dry. So you can walk all over this. It's may as well have been here for 10 years. It's so dry. But obviously it's not structurally dry. So if you were trying to like park a car on it or something, you could have some cracks show up. And that's the whole point of watering this thing down, is to prevent cracks. You can see even throughout the day when these guys are finishing up, you can see these saw cut lines right here. Right at the end of the day when they're about to wrap up, they go ahead and saw cut everything. And these are expansion joints because concrete always cracks. It will forever crack. No matter what, if it's a slab, if it's a wall, doesn't matter, it's gonna crack. So one of the things that they do is they put in those expansion joints. They're like saw cuts, so they just saw cut the concrete, and that gives the concrete a place to crack, so it can kind of control where it's gonna crack. My guys always tell me that things like this right here, this corner, obviously we didn't pour the slab over here because we have more to do there, but this joint right here where there's a sharp corner, that's a great opportunity for a crack. So they put these saw cuts in here. They do it the same day. And just because of this temperature, and he knows I live super close by, he's like, hey, run over there and hose that thing down. And I mean, it's half dry already, so let's check some more out here. So that's the pit. You've seen all the rebars sticking up because we actually have more concrete to pour. You can see I left this whole center section vacant because what's gonna end up happening here is my guys did a really good job. I know in the video this looks like a perfect circle, but it's not. If we get up close to it, you might be able to see some of the lines. You might be able to see some of the imperfections here, and that's okay for the purposes of what this thing is here to do. At the end, when the actual turntable is coming, they're gonna come and set a metal ring around the edge that's gonna be a perfect circle. They're gonna stand it up, so it's gonna be like an L. So yeah, if we're on this side, it'll be like an L over here. And that tip, where the tip of my finger is, will be the edge. The perfect edge between the turntable and the pit. So once we have that metal ring in there, we'll go ahead and pour this slab back here, and we'll fill in down here, and we'll get all our final concrete dialed in, and then we'll have a perfect circular edge around that turntable. So it's really sharp and there's no inconsistencies in the gaps. I'm gonna walk you over here across this treacherous rebar, and you can see our pit for our in-ground lift, and it's a big pit. This thing's huge. So this is a big old, just a big old hole. And I wanted to go ahead and get it in the ground now because once we have framing in here, we have a ceiling, it's not gonna be easy for us to put an excavator down in here to dig that hole. So back over here, you've got this big square that you guys might be wondering what that is. That is a recess or a pit for an elevator shaft. The elevators call for so much of a relief. So we have a pit here for the elevator to sit down inside of. And then this is the toilet and the vanity pipes for our powder room that will be right here and go this way. And there'll be a door right there. And then there'll be some closets right here. So we have a slab. So yeah, stay tuned. We've got more coming. This week's gonna be a busy week. We got the slabs in. We got to do a lot more digging on the right side. We've touched on that a little bit in some of our other videos, but we have them coming tomorrow to do that work. And then I think Thursday and Friday, the steel workers start erecting all of the steel. There's gonna be a huge steel structure right above my head for this 3-car garage. There's gonna be beams everywhere. You're gonna see this big exoskeleton. It's gonna start looking like something. It's gonna be pretty cool. In the meantime, we're gonna try and get all of this dirt excavated out here for our retaining wall, and then we're going to get our retaining wall put in, backfill, be doing all that stuff while the guys are working on the steel. So there's a lot more work to do before we ever get to framing. We're probably at least, I would say, 1.5 to 2 months away from being able to frame this house because we have to get all this groundwork done, get all the infrastructure set up. So stay tuned, more to come.